Hello everyone, my name is Christopher DeLong and this is Make Your English Better. I wanted to create some different videos to give you an idea of what it's like to grow up in the United States. Now, I am not so young anymore. That's obvious, I suppose. Stop laughing. I'm joking. But I wanted to share with you some things from the past and some of the things apply to today. Okay? Here you can see some various pictures. When I was a child, we were often asked to pose, to stand in front of a building. Maybe you can relate to this. Maybe your family does the same thing. Okay? So in this picture, you can see that I am standing in front of a historical building. I actually think, if I remember, that this is a building that has to do with Calvin Coolidge. Okay, you can look him up. So this was a building in, I believe, Vermont, and we visited as children. It had a lot of different things to see. It had a barn with different machines, and it was entertaining at the time and probably still today. This was near Woodstock, Vermont, a very beautiful older city with a very incredible style. There are lots of art places to sell art, okay? Beautiful covered bridges. I think there are 16 in the area around that. I'm not sure. But this is a place that I frequented a lot. Here you can see, some years later, that this is me right here, on a four-wheeler. Four-wheelers are very exciting. I don't know if you've ever been on one. You have to be careful, of course. We're not wearing helmets in this picture. But in the past, people didn't take all of the precautions that people take today. So you can see in this picture, this is actually in the state of Maine. A lot of woods, a lot of trails, a beautiful place as well. A lot of fun to grow up or spend some time there. In this picture here, I'm actually not sure where we are. Maybe I should have looked on the back of the picture. My parents normally wrote on the backs of pictures what the picture was about. So you can see us in front of this home. It looks like a place where we might have slept, a kind of a lodge. Not very big, but probably at the time it was suitable, correct? Here you can see this is a little carnival. We're actually in this ride right here. Probably the ride goes round and round in a circle. Not very exciting today, but certainly exciting in the past. And this picture is interesting for me. This is me right here, okay? I was about 11 years old. Now, before you assume that I was being, mistreated or working unnecessarily, where I used to live, they actually let the schools close for 3 weeks so that the students could help pick potatoes. This was in Aroostook County in Maine. So we would get out of school, and early in the morning, we would go and we would pick potatoes, okay? So I received money. But if you imagine, this barrel here is pretty big, yeah? And so I had to fill it, and I think I probably got like $2.50, which at the time, I believe was a lot of money. But today, it's kind of embarrassing, I know. So this was a fun time. It took a lot of trust from my parents, but for me it was very fulfilling. It was very nice. In this picture here, you can actually see my great-grandmother. So this is me right here. This is my great-grandmother, as I said, and I'm not exactly sure when she died, but I know that in this picture she was old. And I know that she drove for many years. I think she drove into her 90s. So in the United States, a lot of the older people are still very independent. They drive their cars as long as they can. They shop as long as they can. They do things independently as long as they can. She had a Scout, a baby blue, if I remember, a baby blue Scout. It was a 4x4 vehicle, and she lived in the hills of Vermont. I remember her home. We had to get water from a pail that was in her sink. The water ran constantly. It was ice cold. It came from the mountains or from a spring near her home. And so we would use this device to get the water, this utensil, to get the water from the pail and drink it, or dip your cup in the pail and take the water out. Very interesting. Here is another page of older pictures. So what's interesting about this picture here is I was, I believe, 10 years old. And these were some houses that we lived in, a house that we lived in, but the neighborhood, all the houses were the same. These houses were military houses. And you can see the same thing here. This is the same house. This is me. I am shoveling. You can see how high the snow is actually. So I remember when I was a kid, the snow would blow up the back of the house because this was a big field behind our house. The snow would blow up against the house. We would climb on the top of the house and we would sled off the roof. Seriously. Another thing we did is we would dig tunnels under the snow and we would make like a fort or a house. Now, when you dig a tunnel under the snow, it's actually warmer than in the air, right? So these two pictures are in the same location, but two different times of the year. Winter and, I don't know, spring, summer, right? Maybe fall. So I played soccer, and here I was shoveling snow. I grew up doing a lot of things for my parents and for neighbors. Probably at this time, I was asking the neighbors to shovel their driveways to earn some money. It was great. Here, I was playing baseball. So this was actually an interesting moment. I played soccer, I played baseball, and I believe I played 1 or 2 seasons of basketball. So a lot of kids in the US grow up playing multiple sports. They get good at multiple sports, not just one specific sport. Okay? I don't know that I was ever really good at any specific sport, but I certainly had fun playing. Okay? Here and here, you can see 2 pictures from around the same period of time. So here I was, I believe, singing in a group, and here I was actually an actor, and I was a blind actor. So you can see me here with the sunglasses, and this was a play that we were doing. Good times. Look at the clothes. Look at this sweater here. Look at this shirt. Very interesting. Look at the hair. So if you've ever seen, for example, a series on TV based in the 80's, this is exactly what you're seeing here. I believe that these pictures are around 1985, 1983, okay? And here, look at this. I feel like I should be in a picture with a lot of people, and you should try to find me. That's the pattern of the shirt, right? So this was in Virginia. Now, you might not know this, now you do, but my brother had cancer as a child, and he's fine today. But we went to this camp, I believe it was called Camp Fantastic, in the United States, in the state of Virginia. And there we would spend the summer or some days, and it gave the kids, the adults, a chance to forget about the situation that they were going through. So that was a lot of fun, a very interesting experience, okay? So these are some little experiences that I wanted to share with you about my childhood. And For me, it was a very good time in my life. The 80s were spectacular. Now, the 90s are great, the 2000s are awesome. But these were the 80s. And this is exactly how it was for me. All right? I will see you soon with more videos about more places in time. Talk to you soon.